everyone, this is Bobbi of Knitters Kniche. Welcome to my Knitters Kniche, my bonus room. I'm here this morning, early in the morning. I'm looking out my window right now, up here in my bonus room. The sun's coming out. It's a beautiful day. We had some storms last night, but we're on the upswing today, and we're going to have a glorious day. Temperature will be dropping rapidly throughout the day. We'll have wind gusts. So I'm up here and I'm all nice and cozy in my Knitters Kniche. I'm wearing my flannel pajamas. Now, here's what I plan to do. Vlogmas. This is a pre-Vlogmas episode. Now, I'm planning to do Vlogmas, which means I will be with you every day for 24 days of December. And I'm going to be opening my yarn advents. I'm going to be working on my yarn advent projects daily. And you're going to see an update every single day. Now, let's talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my flannel pajamas. Yeah, flannel pajamas. Why not? These are knitting flannel pajamas. They have knitting motifs, little designs all throughout. It says knitted with love. There's actually a stitch marker on here. There's circular needles. When do you see that on printed fabric? So I'm thinking that the person that came up with this print is a knitter. It looks obvious to me. So I'm all nice and cozy. Well, you're saying, Bobbi, you don't have a knitted item on. Yes, I do. I have on slipper socks. Now, the slipper socks I have on are basic. They're heel flap and gusset, twisted rib around the ankle here, Kitchener at the toe. They are knit with worsted / Aran yarn. Just whatever you have in your stash. These are a no-pill yarn, and I've washed them I don't know how many times. I've knit several of these, but this is the only solid color I have. It's kind of a fuchsia pink. I need a red pair. I should whip up a red pair. They're very quick to knit. This particular pattern is by Vicki Howell, and I will put a link down below to her book that I had bought that has the pattern in it, but I will also check in Ravelry to see if that's available, and I'll put that link down there also. Okay, what we're going to talk about today, we are going to talk about yarn advent patterns. This is what we need. We need a variety of patterns so we can make a choice on how to use our yarn advents. Now, they could be 10-gram minis or it could be 20-gram minis. So I have got several that I have put in Ravelry. I've made 4 bundles. Each bundle is a different category. So I'm going to log in, get on my iPad here, and I am going to talk about those 4 different bundles. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Advent Mini Skeins, Cowl, and Scarves Patterns. The first one I'm going to talk about, now I have 9. I have 9 in this bundle. Now, I probably won't talk about each one of these, but it gives you a good variety to go onto my Ravelry page, and you can take a look at these and maybe make a decision if you're interested in a scarf or a cowl. The majority in this bundle are cowls. The one cowl I would like to just talk about a little bit here is called the Simple Advent Cowl. It is a garter stitch cowl. She says it's knit in simple garter stitch. It can be knit in the round, okay, in a tube, or it can be knit flat. So she has both instructions in her pattern to do it in the round or to do it flat and then to seam it. This cowl uses 20 colors, and you could certainly adjust it to include more or less. And that's what I like too about these yarn advent patterns that I've chosen. You can actually make something smaller, make it larger, and you will be just fine. And let's see, she said she used 20-gram mini skeins, and she used approximately 60% of each skein. So that would be wonderful. But yarn is held double throughout. It's 2 fingering weight yarns held together. So what you could do, you could take from both ends of your skein, of your little mini 10-gram skein or 20-gram skein. Take both ends and knit that way, or you could marl it. You could bring in another color and marl it. It looks like she's faded one color into another. I will have a picture up here where you can take a look at it just to see what it looks like. But do go on my Ravelry page, which I will have the link below for you, and take a look at that. So we'll talk about that one. So let's go on to another bundle. Let's take a look here. I go into my favorites, then I choose bundles. The next bundle I'm going to talk about, I have titled Advent Mini Skeins for Shawl Patterns. Now, shawl patterns work fantastic for minis, and the reason they do, you can make them as small or as large as you want. There is a couple on here that I would really enjoy. Actually, there's more than a couple. There's 3 here that are really standing out at me right now. So I'm going to talk about one. It's called the Perfect Blend. And the Perfect Blend is an asymmetrical shawl, and it is by Casapinka. And Casapinka has called this the Perfect Blend, and this was a mystery knit along. It looks like back in 2019. The materials that you need are 12 mini skeins, or use 4 skeins of 300 yards of sock yarn. So if you use your 12 20-gram minis, you'll have another 12 to do another project if you'd like. And she goes on to say, well, now her 12 mini skeins, she said, need to be at least 100 yards each. But you know what? It's a shawl, so you can get away if yours are just like 90. That would probably be fine also. So the reason I would like to try this, again, I'll have a picture up here, is each section, each color, it looks to me, not positive, but it looks to me that they're all a different lace. So you're going to have all this combination, all this texture, different textures going on. I would recommend that. Now, this one is a paid-for pattern. It is $7. The first one I had mentioned, the Cowl I had mentioned just a little bit ago, that was a free pattern. So there are some of these that are free. Now, here's another one, excuse me, another shawl that I like. It is a strictly garter, because we all know I like garter for the texture, the squish, the warmth. This is called Color Riot, and Color Riot is by All Knit Up Designs. And this can be used, it is an asymmetrical shawl. Again, I'll have a picture. Asymmetrical shawl, which in turn has a border that comes down around. It's also garter. And it just frames it nicely. And it's just having the speckle, one speckle color to another speckle. I just really like this. I am so drawn to this. And this is a paid-for pattern. It is a little bit more expensive. It is $8.99. So, but here's what she does. This particular designer, she uses a pay what works scale. So she gives you a choice here. And then if you choose to pay the full amount, that's fine. You can even actually pay even more. So that would take care of someone else that can't afford it, which I think is fantastic. So everyone can take a chance and knit these. Okay. Let's see, there was another one called, excuse me, Adventurous Wrap. That's clever. So let me click onto this. This is by, it's Amba OBrien. She has several Yarn Advent mini skein patterns on her Ravelry page. The reason I like this one, this again is, I'm still in the shawl category. It was designed with a Yarn Advent calendar in mind, okay? And that's important, to make the most of daily mini skein gifts that appear. So daily, when you open it, you would actually go ahead and do the next row in the shawl. And then the third day, open it up. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous yarn. Go ahead and add it to that shawl. So daily, you're doing the next part and the next part and the next part of the shawl. And it is beautiful. Again, I'll have a picture up here so you can take a look at it. It is done with fingering weight. She specifically breaks it down for each mini skeins, and she says 25 mini skeins. Now, I mean, you could probably find a little mini skein in your stash or some extra fingering weight yarn that you might have. But she breaks it down to yardage per one. And the most yardage one skein uses on one section is 77 yards. That's option A. And option B is for 12 mini skeins. So there's two options. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. That's nice. That is absolutely nice. That is a fantastic offer. And that is a paid for pattern. Okay, so we've talked about a few shawls in that bundle. The next bundle I'm going to talk about that I have put together is, have you ever bought self-striping yarn that a hand dyer has dyed? And you can do a stripe a day. A lot of people say, oh, knit a stripe a day and do socks. And knit a stripe a day and there'll be enough stripes there. And then you'll have a completed sock on day 25. You could also knit other things. So I have done a bundle. It's called Advent Sock Self-Striping Yarn Patterns. The first one is a cowl that I'll mention real quick here. It's called Epic Galactic Battle Cowl. I'll have a picture up here where you can see it. And it's by Must Knit Designs. It is a light fingering weight on US 1 needles. And she basically said it's knit from a recipe. It's not a step-by-step hand-holding pattern. You can cast on with a provisional cast on or a long tail cast on. This is a free pattern, So take a look at that on my Ravelry page. You'll enjoy that one. Another thing I did, you know you can knit socks, okay, with a self-striping yarn in your Christmas Yarn Advent yarn. So here's what I put in here too. I put 3 socks. The reason I put socks in here is because if you've ever knitted socks and decided to do a stitch pattern, you can't hardly see it because of the stripes. You know, so you put that work into it and you can't really see it. So, or it will distort the striping sometimes. So the 2 that I have chosen that have a pattern stitch in it work quite well with striped socks. The first one's called Garden Patch. And Garden Patch is a free pattern. It is by All Knit Up Designs. So it goes in here and it works perfectly with the stripe. It doesn't interfere with the striping, but yet has a little bit of texture to it, a little bit of a pattern. So I would recommend that one. It's in my bundle in Ravelry. And the other one I have put in here that has a bit of a texture is also free. And it is by Tangled Becca, B-E-K-A-H, called Twizzler Socks. And Twizzler socks have a bit of a pattern in it also. So it doesn't take away from the striping at all. You still see those beautiful different colors. And it also, you can still see the texture of the stitch without interfering with the stripe. Okay. And there again, there is another one I put in this one. It's called Back to Basic Socks. It talks about knitting with striped self-striping yarn, knitting socks with self-striping yarn. And I put that in there because in case someone hasn't knit with, and I haven't, I mean, I've knit with self-striping before, but not with the thin little beautiful hand-dyed stripes. I have not knit with that. So I put that in there. It's called Back to Basic Socks. It's in that bundle also. Now, one other thing I put in this bundle for your self-striping sock yarn, Advent sock yarn, is socks called Socks versus Fingerless Mitts. And the reason I put this in here is because she really had something interesting to say, which makes total sense to me. She says, oh, her name is Carrie Ann Eikenberry. And Carrie Ann says, ever cast on some socks and decide the yarn is just too darn pretty to hide in your shoes? And she says, this simple pattern is how I changed my mind and made some awesome striped fingerless mittens, because here they are. Everybody can see them. I like that. I like that a lot. I'll have a picture of those to show you real quick. They're longer. There is a thumb on these. Sometimes they don't have a thumb on the fingerless mitts, but there is a thumb knitted on there. Okay, well, last but not least, we are going to talk about the last bundle that I have put together for your mini skein Advent yarns. It is called, I've titled it, Advent Mini Skeins Modular Knit Patterns. And let's talk about what the word modular means. And modular means basically having a piece or a part, an initial piece or part. And what you would do, the initial one, you are going to cast onto that initial one to attach and to form your next part. So I have, let's see, how many do I have in this one? I have 10, and they are all throws. I have 10 throws in here. They're all modular knit. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 10 are mitered square. And I'm going to talk about one. My first one I'm going to talk about is hot off the presses. It is brand new. It is free. And it was just released. It is by Cozy Up Knits. It's called Creative Advent Throw. Now the Creative Advent Throw is so new that they just posted it in black and white. The photos are black and white. The reason they're black and white is because they did a collaboration with the Creative Knitter, and the Creative Knitter had dyed these Yarn Advent little mini skeins, and they wanted to keep that a secret because people are going to be opening that one a day, and they want everybody to be surprised for the people that want to be surprised. So that's in black and white, and I'll have a picture of it up here. And what this is, again, this is in my modular knit category. These are squares. They're not mitered squares. They are squares that are knit from the center, and there are 3 different designs that they have done. And they also, I immediately casted one on, and I did there's a stockinette one I started out with just to get my gauge. Really, really like this. You can do it in fingering weight. You can do it in DK. So there are 2 options there. And they even show you how to lay it out. There's a schematic and where to lay out each one to get a nice design, because like I said, each of the 3 are a different stitch pattern, but they're all squares knitted from the center. I have a picture up there. Okay, another brand new one, and it's in color, is by KF Jones. And KF Jones, a lot of you probably already know who she is. She is the better half, may I say, or half of the Bakery Bears video knitting podcast, YouTube podcast. She does it along with her husband. Now, what this is a blanket with modular construction. I'm just reading down here what she has, knitted in 4 triangle shaped pieces and then seamed together. And this will help you to maximize your mini skeins, because she has chosen to use, she said the pattern requires 24 20-gram minis in a fingering weight. Now, she also said, I watched a podcast, one of her more recent podcasts, and she said that she had actually had knit this pattern in DK. She had got a DK Yarn Advent. Oh, I can't remember who she said it was. It was a hand-dyed designer. Anyway, she did 6 of the skeins, and when she just did just the 6, just to get kind of a reference on sizing, it was probably, oh, I don't know, this big. So that's just 6. And that's not 12, and that's not 24. So that'll be a nice size in DK. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'll have a picture up here for you. And that's new, but her main goal is she really wants to put something out there that uses those 24 mini skeins, your Yarn Advent mini skeins. Okay. And let's see, which other one do I want to talk about? There's one called, this looks very, very nice. It is a paid for pattern. We are still in the modular bundle, is what I'm still talking about. And this is a throw. It's called Radvent. Radvent. It's by OBrien. Amba has several several Yarn Advent patterns on her Ravelry page. She's a designer. And this is knit, basically they're squares, and it is knit, each square is knitted in the round. It is a lace. And I see here, oh, here we go. Enjoy 25% off the festive bundle patterns with the Ravelry code FESTIVE through December 31st, 2022. So she's having a sale going on right now. I would take advantage of that. I haven't purchased this one yet. I better get ready and get that. Okay, it says, knit yourself a gorgeous throw to treasure over the years to come, for yourself or as a gift for that very special someone. Each square is designed to use a mini skein of yarn, perfect for a 24 color set. Here we go. Or use up those lovely leftovers you've been saving and create a memory blanket of all your favorites. Oh, and she gets really into the specifics of it right here, just on the details that you give even before you purchase the pattern. Very nice, very nice. It is knit on a US 6. It is knit with fingering weight yarn. Being that this is a modular knit and the construction of this throw, you could definitely use a DK yarn without any problem. Okay, well, that's it. That is it for my Yarn Advent pattern suggestions. Again, I made 4 bundles. They're on Ravelry. The link is down below. Click on that. Feel free to view those, and that gives you a great option. Or you can, and also you can just even click in Yarn Advent patterns, because there'll be a slew of them in there to choose from. So I'm going to talk about the Yarn Advent that I had ordered. I ordered it from Southern Skeins, and Southern Skeins is a yarn dyer down in Florida. And I was on Instagram one day and it popped up, and I thought, you know, I love Rudolph, and her theme is Rudolph and Friends. Rudolph and Friends at Yarn Advent 2022. And on the back of this card, and I really like this. This is a great idea. I think several of them do this. On day 1, she's named that yarn Rudolph. So I have my day 1 handy. I do. So day 1, she's knitted, or excuse me, she's wrapped it in tissue paper, so I can't see what it is. I will open this, okay, and I'll know, oh, this is Rudolph. I will open this, and what I will do, I will choose one of these patterns, or I get to join on December 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a Zoom. I have a Zoom ID on here, and I have a passcode that I can use. And then what we'll do is here's what it says. Number 2, download the free pattern. That's when I get to download the free pattern. And then number 3, open some yarn daily. So she gets really specific and telling us what we do each day, and get the needles ready is number 4 on the first day, and post photos. Okay, so we've got them all. We've got them all listed on here. I just think that's wonderful. I do have it in a box. This is just my own box. I put it in a box, but what I'm going to do, if you see behind me here, I have a garland. There's a little wooden snowflakes on some jute strung across here. So I'm going to do a Yarn Advent. I'm going to tuck them into little bags, and you're going to see me open those daily. And what else I'm going to do, I'm hoping to have a second little on the side project going. These are my Rowan Minis, the ones that are in little bundles like this. These are my Rowan Minis, and I just had an epiphany this morning. Oh my gosh, I know exactly how I'm going to display these. I know exactly how I'm going to choose them daily, and it is going to be, I thought, how am I going to make this to where I don't know which one I'm choosing? I have an idea, and it is going to be in motion. You know, like some of these things where you spin the wheel, it's going to be a spin the wheel kind of thing. That's going to be exciting, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. So those are my minis that I'm going to be working with. Mainly I'm going to be working with my Yarn Advent from Southern Skeins, the Rudolph and Friends Yarn Advent. Now, I've been sewing again. This is a pattern that I have knit with, oh my goodness, I think this is number 6. And what I've done, I've taken some Yarn Advent material. You know how they come in panels and you can make those Yarn Advents? I've decided, I had 2 of them that I'd ordered last year. I made one, a children's one for my grandchildren, and those turned out really nice. The pockets are kind of small, so I thought I really can't use that for me for my Yarn Advent, so I had hung on to it and hadn't done anything with it, and I was going to back it with this. Isn't that cute? Kind of a retro. Isn't that nice? I lined it with that yarn, like I said, was going to be the back of it if I would have done the Yarn Advent. And I thought, I'm going to cut this up. This is canvas on the bottom. I have used fusible web here. And if you hang on just a second, let me grab, I'm going to tell you what that pattern is because I bought it off of Etsy. So let me get that real quick, just a minute. Okay, the bag that I've used, it's a drawstring box bottom, I think that's what it's called. It is, yeah, drawstring project here. It is Kandou, K-A-N-D-O-U crafts. Okay. And I have made several of them, and I'll probably have one of my future podcasts, I'll talk about project bags, and really it's easy to make. There's several steps, but you know, when you haven't sewn in a while, you know, I had to like kind of get in the rhythm again of sewing. You know, what I love about knitting, one of the many things I love about knitting is that it's portable. This is knitting, this space right here. Sewing is a whole nother animal. Sewing is, you know, you lay out your fabric, you cut out, you know, it requires space. And if you can see up here what this looks like, yeah, I kind of got things piled up a little bit getting ready for the podcast, but it does require space. And my husband's like, I had it downstairs and I had it on the island and it had all these pieces and parts. But actually with this pattern, tell you real quick, you have the actual size of the pieces and you print them off if you want to, but they also have the measurements, so you don't have to print it off if you don't want to. But I made tissue, I got tissue tracing paper and I traced it because I'm from the old school, you know, McCall's patterns, simplicity patterns, where it was like tissue paper and you cut it out and put it on your fabric and that's what you use. So that's what I'm used to. I labeled everything, but I did it that way. But I would recommend this. This is the medium size and it closes up nicely. I don't really want to close it. I don't want it to get all, I don't want this channel right here to get all wrinkled. But anyway, and I had this cording. It is a gold. I think it just came off of some kind of gift wrap or something. I had saved it and I thought, oh my gosh, that would look pretty because there is some gold in here. Well, you can see some on that side. But isn't that cute? This is an official Advent calendar project bag. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Well, I think maybe we're good to go. I will see you soon, very, very soon, because my goal is to be here every day with you, opening my Advent day by day, going through the steps, showing the progress that I have done on my projects. Now today I didn't talk about any whips that I have or any future knits that I want to do. I'm focusing on Christmas right now. I'm focusing on the Yarn Advent season. Hope you've enjoyed this. I so appreciate you, and I always look forward to doing this. And you know what? This is all so much fun. I think we all deserve it. We all deserve a little bit of joy, a little bit of comfort. So enjoy yourself. Look through my bundles on Ravelry. And remember, go out and knit the day. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.